Hello, my friends, and welcome to Kitsune Readings, where your questions find answers. Hello, my friends, Ryu here. Today we're going to learn the lesser banishing ritual of the Pentagram. Now, this comes from Modern Magic. This is by Donald Michael Craig, and it's one of the great books I have where I've had much success with the spells and knowledge herein. 12 Lessons in the High Magical Arts. So, let's see what we have here. Oops. Add a small bookmark here. There we go. Now you'll see some images here. Wands aren't necessary for casting magic, though they do act as a focal point. If you don't have a wand, you simply point your finger. Anyway, the idea is that it forms a channeling point where you can concentrate your energy. So, that being said, part 1 of this is the Kabbalistic Cross. So, you start out by sitting in a chair, of course. Now you rise from the chair, walking clockwise. You move around the altar, just to the east of it, facing the east. Visualize yourself growing larger and larger, taller and taller. Visualizing these things usually works better with your eyes closed, by the way, until you tower above the room you're in. Continue growing in the visualization you're having until the city you live in is small beneath you. See the continent as tiny compared to your majestic body. Now, even the planet Earth small below you. However, no matter how small the planet Earth is, it is still firm and solid beneath your feet, anchoring you to the ground. You are completely safe and secure and will not float away. Next, you want to visualize yourself growing so large that the planets of our solar system are like tiny toy rubber balls spinning near your feet. Soon they are too small to see even as the Milky Way galaxy becomes a small dot of light at your feet. Now visualize a dot of light coming from somewhere far above your head. Know that this is only a tiny bit of the light from this source. And if you saw the full brightness of this light, you would immediately be blinded by its unearthly purity. This tiny bit of endless, limitless light forms a brilliant white sphere pulsating light just above your head. It is 9 inches in diameter, about the size of a dinner plate. It is brighter than 10,000 suns, but still only a tiny portion of the source of this divine spiritual white light. Point to that sphere above your head, without looking at it, mind you, and with your dagger or finger, or wand, whichever you happen to have, and bring it down by pointing to your forehead, just between the eyes. Next, you visualize this brilliance filling your head with divine light. While pointing to your forehead, you vibrate the word, or the name of power in this case, Ata. Now, when you vibrate it, it would be Ata, like that. The bold-faced syllable denotes more on vibration later in this lesson. Learning to vibrate before practicing the lesson would probably be useful. Now, step 2. You bring the point of the dagger, or your finger, down your body until you are pointing down toward the ground. Your hand with the wand, finger, or ritual dagger. And this is in a straight line position that covers your groin area. As you do this, visualize the light in your head coming down along the blade or finger or wand, forming a beam of brilliant white light that moves down through your body and beyond your feet down to the center of the planet Earth. And you vibrate Malkut, or Malkut, like that. Vibration is key in practicing magic, my dear viewers. Now, step 3. Now you bring the blade up to your right shoulder. As you do this, you visualize the powerful stream of white light that runs down the center of your body, and you begin to project a beam from the heart area out to your right, past the blade at your right shoulder. You see this beam of light extend to the end of the universe and beyond. Focus on this beam and vibrate Vagebura. Vagebura. Right, vibration. Key. Step 4. Move the pointed blade horizontally to your left shoulder. As you do so, you visualize a beam of white light now extending through infinite space to your left. As you focus on this beam of light, you vibrate Vagedula. Vagedula, right? I remember. Vibration. Clasp your hands at your chest as if praying. If you are using dagger, the point should be up, not pointing away from you nor to the sides, but straight. Nor to the sides or down, but straight up. Visualize within your chest, at the point covered by your folded hands, a brilliant golden glow. Vibrate the words Leolam Amen. And that would be Leolam Amen. I believe that means I am the beginning and the end. Now, the meaning of this first part of the LBRP, or Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, is as follows. Ata means you, or more poetically, thine in Hebrew. The visualization given above with the proper pointing of the dagger or finger for the purpose of indicating that you are linking you to your higher self with the divine. Malkut is kingdom, and the Kabbalah refers to our physical elemental plane and the planet Earth as this, which would be Malkut. That is why you should be pointing down. Vagebura means, and the power, and Vagedula means the glory, so and the power and the glory. Leolam Amen means forever, and Amen means of course. But you will learn the secret meanings of these words in a later lesson. Again, learning these right away would be much more helpful before presenting this. Thus, the first part of the ritual translates as, For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. This should sound familiar, because it is part of the Lord's Prayer. Curiously, this part of the Lord's Prayer does not occur in the first instance of the prayer in the Bible. It does appear in a later instance, giving the impression that it was added. Is this addition evidence that at least some of the early Christians knew the secrets of the Kabbalah? Well, yes. The Kabbalah was practiced for a long time. It's known as Jewish mysticism sometimes. We may never know. Several of the words used here refer directly to the symbol of primary import in the Kabbalah, which would be the Tree of Life. Now we have part 2, the formulation of the pentagrams. The first part is to prepare you for what you're doing. And see, there's a diagram of how your altar would be set up there. Good to know. It doesn't always have to be this way, of course, but many magicians and practitioners will recommend using a compass to find the directions so that you know you're facing the correct direction absolutely when performing these rituals, which is recommended. Now, part 2, step 1. Move forward to the easternmost edge of your circle. You should be at the point in first diagram labeled east, and the second one on the next page labeled Yadhevahe. Face outward and away from the middle of the circle, where your altar stands. In other words, you are at the east and facing east. Here you draw a pentagram, as was described in the last lesson. Be sure to visualize the figure as a flaming gas jet blue pentagram that you draw. Step 2. Inhale through the nose. As you do, feel the energy flow from the ends of the universe through your nose and body and down and out the bottoms of your feet and the center of the earth. As you inhale, both hands should be raised to the sides. Your head by your ears. The dagger, our right hand index finger. It should be pointing forward. Your left hand, which should have remained at your side until now, drawn into a similar position by the left ear. Index finger pointing forward. The rest of your fingers closed into a fist. Step 3. Step forward with the left foot. At the same time, thrust your hands forward so that they point to the exact middle of the glowing blue pentagram in front of you. This position is known as the God form. This specific form is known as the Emperor. As you do this, you should exhale and feel the energy come back up your own body, out your arms, and through your hands. Through the center of the pentagram and to the ends of the universe, visualize this energy. As brilliant fire engine red, you should use the entire exhalation and to vibrate the God name, Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, or Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, like that. Step 4. Bring your hands back to your ears while bringing your left foot back to its original position. Put your left hand down by your side and point to the center of the pentagram with your right forefinger or dagger. Now following the wand, applying the arrow in the diagram, trace a line in the air at the height of the center of the pentagram as you move in a clockwise direction around the edge of your circle space. You should go 90 degrees so that you end up south facing south again. See the diagram for stopping location. So you go in a complete circle, basically. As you trace the line in the air between the pentagrams, you should visualize a brilliant white light emanating from the tip of your finger, blade, or wand at the south. Repeat steps 1 and 2 of this part of the ritual, but vibrate these names. Adonai, Adonai. Then step 5, Ehyeh. Step 6 would be Abla. Right? Allah, Ehyeh, Adonai. Complete the circle by connecting the white line from north to the east where you began, then moving in the same clockwise direction. Return to the position at the east of your altar and face east, where it says you. Well, that would be the U in the diagram here. Now visualize the brilliant white circle expanding up and down to form a sphere above, below, and all around you. What you have done is create a sphere in brilliant white light all around you with electric blue pentagrams at the quarters which have been charged and sealed with the names of God. The sacred unspoken names of God, mind you. Now, we're going to move on to part 3. I'll cover this in more detail later on. Part 3 is the evocation of the archangels. Step 1. You spread your arms straight out to the sides, so that your body forms a cross. If you have a dagger, it should be pointed up. Take a second or two once again to feel the energies flowing through you and making you a brilliant cross of light to the center of the universe. The cross also represents the 4 archetypal elements: earth, air, fire, and water. More on those later. Now, step 2. You visualize a figure on a hill in front of you. The figure is dressed in yellow robes, which have some purplish highlights. This figure carries a caduceus wand, symbol used by doctors. It's a wand entwined by serpents, also carried by Hermes. Hermes Trismegistus Orthoth. Anyway, continuing. Also called Mercury. It represents life force. The figure's robes wave in the wind. You should feel a slight breeze coming from behind the figure. And you say, "Before me, Raphael," vibrating the name, right? It's Raphael, but Raphael. Alright, step 3, without turning. Visualize a figure standing behind you dressed in blue with some orange highlights. This figure holds a cup in the form of a chalice encrusted with gems and is surrounded by waterfalls. Try to feel moisture in the air around this being, and you say, "Behind me, Gabriel," or Gabriel, or Gabriel, one of the two, right? Step 4, to your right, you visualize a figure dressed in scarlet with green highlights. The figure holds a flaming sword. You should feel heat coming from this direction, and you say, "On my right hand, Michael." Michael, right? You vibrate the CH. It's more of a guttural sound, like in the German Oct or the Scottish Loch. Now, step 5. To your left, you visualize a figure dressed in green and browns, and they stand on a fertile landscape. This figure upholds some sheaves of wheat, and you say, "And on my left hand, Uriel." You vibrate the names. Uriel, right? You move your left foot out to your left and visualize another beautiful blue pentagram all around you, outlining your body, and you say, "For about me flames the pentagram." Visualize a golden hexagram, a six-pointed star, sometimes called the Jewish star, within you, right where your heart is, and you say, "And within me shines the sixth-rayed star." Now, you repeat one of this ritual. You repeat the Kabbalistic cross. Other people have slightly different versions of this, but it's largely the same. And so, that concludes the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. Remember, step 1, touch your head, Ata, point down to your groin, Malkut. Touch the right shoulder, Vagabura, touch the left shoulder, Vagadula. Fold your hands at the chest, Leolam Amin. You go to east, you draw your pentagram at the center, Yadhevah. You carry the line south, draw the pentagram, point to the center, vibrate. You vibrate the name, Adonai. You repeat, carry the line to the west, and you vibrate, You draw the pentagram with your finger, wand, or dagger in each of these locations, by the way. You go to the west, you vibrate, You repeat, carry to the north, vibrate, Agla. Carry the line to the east, completing the circle, you return to the center. Hands out, you say, "Before me, Raphael, behind me, Gabriel, and on my left hand, Uriel. For about me flames the pentagram, and within me shines the sixth-rayed star." Now, when performing this ritual, you need to remember to speak with feeling and confidence. This is very important when performing rituals and casting magic. Thank you for listening, my friends. I love you all. You can and you will achieve your dreams, and I will see you all very soon. Have a great day.